Okay, Derbyites. We've got an exciting slugfest here. We've got a slugfest not with the editors, not with the experts, but with the people who do pretty well at predictions and sometimes come out on top. The users at Gold Derby, the forum posters who are entrenched in the day-to-day discussions of entertainment awards. We're joined with Brad Weir and Kyle Bailey, two of the most more prolific posters in our forums. And we're going to talk about some of the stuff that's getting chatted about on the Gold Derby forums. Firstly, what sort of a lot of people are talking about is with the Globe and SAG nominations coming out, it was a very good week for the film Trumbo. And there's a topic in the forums at the moment saying, can Trumbo go all the way at the Oscars? How do you feel, Brad? How do you feel like Trumbo went, and what are its prospects looking forward to the Oscars?
Well, I think that Bryan Cranston has definitely picked up a lot of momentum. He's playing a Hollywood legend. He's playing Dalton Trumbo. It's such an amazing story, and it's going to hit pretty close to home for a lot of these voters. The cast, I mean, everybody's playing somebody that everybody knows. So they were obviously going to get into SAG Ensemble. I'd predicted them. I was surprised how little people were predicting it. Helen Mirren getting in there as well. I'm not sure it will be a Best Picture contender. I think it will be more its cast than anything else. I don't think it will get anything more.
What do you think, Carl?
And I was predicting up until I saw the movie, and I just thought it was a little too hammy, and like I didn't know if the awards were going to take him seriously or anything. But then, I mean, it wasn't too surprising he got in. It was just I was kind of counting on some sight unseen people. In terms of the SAG nominations, I think I really love that they got in for ensemble, because that is a really great ensemble, and I loved Helen Mirren in that movie. I mean, she's not doing anything spectacular, but she's really fun in that role, and I think that if Mara and Vikander get in a lead at the Oscars, I think Mirren has a really good shot of getting it. But I'm still a little shaky on Cranston. I think I need like the BAFTAs to chime in on things, and then I'll know for sure.
Yeah, like it seems like, especially in the forums, there's people like Ben Braddock saying Trumbo will be nominated for 1 Academy Award, Best Actor Bryan Cranston. JF123 says doesn't even think Cranston will get in due to a pretty bad marketing campaign, which makes it look like he's playing a cartoon character. So, like, there seems to be, and Echo says no nominations for Trumbo. So it seems like there's sort of, some people think he's got a good chance. Some people who are high on his chance, though, Gold Derby chief Tom O'Neill and Pete Hammond, who have just recently been chatting about whether Bryan Cranston could go and take out the lead actor Oscar now. He's got that momentum behind him. What do you think about that, Brad? Could he go all the way, and could Bryan win?
I'm going to say yes. I think he could if they really love it. I mean, when you look at his other contenders, everybody's got something working against them. Whereas Cranston's playing this big, Hollywood star, and I think that that's something that will work in his favor against somebody like Leo DiCaprio, who's in this, big extravaganza movie, which is, him running around in the woods, or Eddie Redmayne won last year, so that can work against him. There's a lot of factors that are working against his other competitors that could see Cranston sneak a win.
What do you think, Kyle? Can Cranston actually win, beat people like Leo and Fassbender? Kyle? Are you there?
He's really, I think he's really well respected by his peers. I mean, Anthony Hopkins wrote him a letter for Breaking Bad, so he definitely has like big stars that can support him. But I don't I don't know about when. I think that if we see them get like tech noms for like costumes and maybe an art or a production design nomination, if there's overall support, he could win, but I don't know.
Yeah, well, Baby Clyde in the forums says that they've thought Cranston's the dark horse for months. He's kind of popular actor who the branch can get behind. It's definitely an interesting prospect of Cranston for a win. It's not something I'd really thought about till Pete and Tom's chat, because in some ways he's not even guaranteed a nomination at the Oscars at this point. And this is the parallel. Here's sort of like a parallel I sort of seen. You guys tell me whether this is crazy or not. But a part of me wonders whether Bryan Cranston in Trumbo is similar to Tom Hanks in Saving Mr. Banks. Like playing a very celebrated Hollywood sort of icon. Seems like it's in sort of the Academy, the industry's wheelhouse. Fairly sort of sentimental performance from a beloved veteran that just doesn't have that passion behind it to really make a dent in the race. What do you think, Brad? Is that a fair parallel that I've made, or not a fair one?
Yeah.
I know, Brad. I have not muted Brad. Brad, we can't hear you, buddy. Do you want to maybe leave the chat and come back in, and I'll ask Kyle the question he can answer while you're so about Kyle. Am I nuts for saying this could be a Saving Mr. Banks situation for Trumbo and Cranston?
I'm not sure. I think comparison, but also Saving Mr. Banks had Disney behind it, and Trump Street, which is a very funny. They've been doing a lot of different interesting of them, but we don't really know. Trumbo could go either way. It could go with a bunch of nominations, or it could get 1 or 2 nominations. So it's really a really weird case.
Yeah, no, it is a weird case. You were breaking up a bit there, Kyle. Were you saying that the Saving Mr. Banks thing is crazy or not crazy?
I think it's an interesting parallel. I mean, Disney was everyone, and Dalton Trumbo, what I got from the movie, he had like him for his politics, but over time he's gained respect. And I didn't really know who Dalton Trumbo was before I saw the movie. I knew that there was a documentary, and I saw those famous pictures of him in the bathtub writing on the typewriter, but I didn't really know who he was. But Disney is someone that anybody really knows. So, I mean,
yeah.
it's a fair comparison.
Okay, yeah. What Brad Weir?
Can you hear me now? Yeah.
Yes.
Excellent.
Yeah.
I think the difference could be that that Tom Hanks was portraying that icon. I mean, with Cranston, he's dominated the TV landscape for years, and now this is him coming into the movie industry, and this is like a big chance for them to embrace him playing somebody like Dalton Trumbo. And I think that works better than if it was a big veteran playing him, who they've already rewarded dozens of times.
That's very fair. Okay, let's leave Trumbo behind for a second. Kyle, what do you think the big news was coming out of the Globes and the SAGs? What was your reaction when those nominations came out as to which films did well, which films didn't do well? What jumped out at you, Kyle?
Well, it shows that Helen Mirren has her fans, because she can get in for a movie that came out in April called Woman in Gold, which I liked more than most people did, and she does give a really good performance in it. And I mean, it was a box office success for Weinstein, so it did have a lot of people who saw it. And then also Sarah Silverman for I Smile Back is kind of your Jennifer Aniston kind of comedic actress going darker. I just watched the movie this morning, and that was interesting. And seeing those two get in over some of the big heavyweights we've been predicting is something that was interesting. And even something like Johnny Depp for Black Mass getting at SAG, but not at the Globes, which I presume, I guess, Will Smith kind of took that spot. So and for also with the Globes, I think really interesting is I don't think I've ever seen them embrace independent movies so well, like things like 99 Homes and Love and Mercy and Ex Machina. So that was very interesting, and Room as well.
Yeah. What did you think? What did you think, Brad?
Well, speaking of Michael Shannon for 99 Homes, that's an interesting one because I'm not sure if that can carry its momentum from now until Oscar nominations morning, because we've got things like The Hateful Eight coming out, which everybody's going to have seen soon. Jacob Tremblay for Room didn't get in at the Golden Globes, but I think he will. I think he will be in at the Oscars. I think. Plus Christian Bale went lead at the Golden Globes and got in at SAG, so I think he would be somebody else who I think will knock Shannon off. Yeah, I guess that's my thoughts on that.
It's so nuts that Johnny Depp didn't get in at the Globes. They nominated him for The Tourist a couple of years ago. I'd really be concerned about Johnny Depp's Oscar prospects now and getting a nomination there, just because I feel like I don't think people are going to be getting more excited about Black Mass the closer we get to the Oscars. I do feel like, if he's not getting the momentum, it's going to be hard for him, especially when you got people like Cranston, who are sort of also on the bubble, that are now getting momentum from these awards.
Yeah, and I think another thing with Depp is, do the voters even care about the character that he's portraying compared to somebody like Cranston, who he's playing in Eddie Redmayne and The Danish Girl? That's a very relevant subject at the moment, and I feel like they're more relevant than Depp's character.
Yeah, I'd agree. What about what was I going to say? What about on the comedy side? Oh no, I was going to touch on Room because you guys brought it up, and that's a film to me that has a lot of Oscar upside to it, because I feel like it's a film that is going to have a lot of, it grabs you in a way that makes you really like it. It may not be everyone's cup of tea, but I feel like it's going to get that passion support, those number one, those votes. And for the Oscars, we have preferential ballots, where the more number one or number two rankings you get actually helps you a lot more than a lot of these other awards. How big could Room go, do you reckon, Kyle? Because I think it's got a lot of Oscar upswing because it will have that passionate support.
I think it'll do very well. I think the questions are, can Tremblay make it in? Because, I mean, there is the case that he's not a supporting character in that movie. He's single. There could be a lot for that. And Jonah Laura Dern, a well-respected character actor that doesn't get the Globe, SAG, or BAFTA love, or even some of the critics, really. And could she sneak in there? I think that's a very good chance she could. I think screenplay is safe, and I think picture is safe. And I mean, there's a chance that the director could get in. We've seen a lot of weird indie picks get in there, but it's not going to do a lot of damage in the below the line. Maybe production design, because it's really a unique setting. It's a very closed space. But yeah, I think it will do really well.
Yeah. What do you think? What do you think, Brad?
Yeah, I agree. I definitely think that it could get in for director. And as you said, the production design is pretty grand in terms of it being in such a small area, but it's so it feels so important, and I think that's gonna be important. Yeah, I think if Tremblay gets in, I think that's a sign that they're really liking it. Obviously, Brie Larson's a lock by now. I don't think there's anybody not predicting her. Maybe not to win yet, because I still think that there's competition for her, but certainly a Best Picture nomination I think is pretty likely as well at this point.
Do we think? Okay, here's a question: Does Jennifer Lawrence missing out on a nomination with the Screen Actors Guild? And we know that one of the reasons is that was a film that came very late, and the DVDs came very late. It might not be completely reflective of her chances. It's definitely going to hurt her with momentum coming down the track, though. Is this good news for Brie Larson that one of her key competitors has hit a speed bump? Or is this bad? Because part of me thought, like, a strong Jennifer Lawrence is going to be a good buffer because they're not going to want to give her another lead actress Oscar so soon. And it's actually better for Brie Larson if her competitors are past winners rather than your Ronins that haven't won before. They could have a great sort of story, coming out story this year as well. What do you think, Carl?
I think just Best Actress is it's such a weird year to even say who's going, because it's the Canada, and that will change the race definitely, because that's knocking out two people we were already predicting for lead, and Mara won the Cannes Award, which doesn't factor into the Oscars a lot, but and she's gotten all this critical love, and it's just weird. It's a weird year, definitely, for that category. For Jennifer Lawrence, I think that the screeners were her issue for that movie. I haven't seen the movie yet, but I'm hearing a lot of rumbles of she's the best thing about the movie. So it's definitely something.
Oh, you're breaking out there a bit, Carl. Let's go. Let's cross to Brad. Brad, what do you think?
I don't think Lawrence is out of this just yet. I think, as you said, them not getting the screeners in and not seeing it enough, I think, has definitely played a factor, like it did for The Hateful Eight. Obviously, if they'd seen The Hateful Eight, I would have got into ensemble, I think, no problem. I think with Joy, she is Joy. She's the main focus of that. She plays somebody across, is it 3 generations that she's portraying this character across? So that's pretty working in her favour, I guess. But obviously, if Vikander and Mara do go lead, or people start voting for them in lead, I think that would be a problem for her. And as you said, I think Larson would help more if she was against Lawrence than if she's only going to be against Ronan or those other guys who haven't won before. Mara, maybe, if she gets into lead.
We've talked a bit about one of the. Oh, sorry, Carl.
I just wanted to add real quick, but we also have to think that there could very well be a scenario where we have all newcomers or young people. Because some of these guys have been working for a while now. Or we could get a very veteran-heavy category with people like Lily Tomlin, Maggie Smith, Charlotte Rampling. Just any of those people could get in, and that could be a different narrative going in for them, because you have to think Lily Tomlin, this will be 40 years since she got her first nomination. There's the narrative. Maggie Smith, this could be her kind of last outing in that category. And Charlotte Rampling is getting a lot of critical support. I think she could pull off the Marion Cotillard slot last year, where she wins critics awards, but not any of the precursors, and gets into the Oscars. So there's definitely multiple scenarios here.
And like Tom's got the great theory of if you're the apple amongst oranges, or the orange in the apple cart, or whatever it is, that it can help you in these races. So it'd be interesting if you got either 4 veterans and 1 young person, or 4 young people and 1 veteran, whether that would have an impact on the race at all. Like, if, you know, you can sort of be the one person in your lane that gets the nomination, that could be an asset to you. We took one of the most popular topics in the forums, I reckon, every year is category fraud. And who's committing category fraud, who's in a category that they don't belong in, to about oranges in the apple cart, I guess. What do you guys perceive is probably potentially going to be the biggest case of category fraud this year? We'll start with Brad.
I think it will be Mara. I think if she gets into supporting actress, she will win. And I think there's going to be a lot of, you know, outcry about that. I mean, Vikander should really be going lead, obviously, but I don't think she will either. I think they will put her in supporting. Obviously, Tremblay, pretty much in the whole movie of Room, he's going to be in supporting, and that does seem strange, but it's going to give them a better chance than if they were going lead. So, you know, do you award them in the wrong category, or do you not reward them in the right one?
Yeah. What do you think, Kyle?
Well, that's what I think is happening to Spotlight, because I don't think it's particularly fair to... I mean, it's okay to say that your movie is an ensemble film, but that doesn't mean that you can just go into the supporting categories, because that's kind of like the case with Modern Family at the Emmys. Like, because Michael Keaton and Mark Ruffalo and Rachel McAdams are the 3 kind of on-the-field kind of driving forces of Spotlight. And I feel like that's what's hurting them, because they're pretty much the movie. I mean, you have scenes with Brian Darcy James and Eve Shriver, but they definitely have less material. So they're definitely people that I think are getting the burn for that. I think Jacob Tremblay is one of those cases where it's okay to some people because he's young, and that's kind of how Haley Steinfeld got in for True Grit, because she wouldn't have gotten in that 2010 Best Actress if she went lead. And of course, Mara and Vikander are definitely. And I mean, I brought up, I think Kate Winslet is kind of a leading force in Steve Jobs. I mean, no, it's not about her, but a lot. But she's one that I'm okay if she's in supporting.
Well, okay, what do you think, Carl, though? Like, you just said in the Spotlight, guys, there is no chance anyone from Spotlight could win in the lead categories, though, correct?
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, so, like, they are, like, regardless of whether it's right or wrong, like, they are making the savvy move by going into.
But is it? I mean, they didn't get nominated, so...
I think if Michael Keaton would rather win and risk not getting nominated than the other way around. Like, he went through the whole not winning last year. Like, he's got... Like, I don't think he really cares whether he gets a lead nomination. I'm sure he'd rather the supporting win than a lead nomination. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Any last thoughts on the film races, Brad?
Well, I'd like to bring up Paul Dano for Love and Mercy. He's been somebody I've been very stubborn about removing from my prediction centre. I've probably my favourite performance of the year. I thought he was amazing. Never been nominated for an Oscar before, which I feel like he's overdue a nomination now. He's been in so many brilliant films. I wish he would go lead. I feel like there's that. I think you have Redmayne, DiCaprio, Fassbender, Cranston. I think are the top four, but there's definitely that open fifth spot, and I feel like he could maybe have gotten in there because Brian Wilson will probably be nominated for original song, and I'm not sure if that's ever been done before, where somebody would be nominated for playing somebody who was also nominated that same night. I think that would be a pretty incredible achievement.
Carl?
It was actually just announced today that the song's not eligible because I think it comes too late in the credits. They just announced the short list for the song, so he could get the Globe, but that's as far as he's going. But I do agree about Dano. I think that he could get in if, he could be a for sure thing if he got into lead. But I think the crazy thing about that thing is that if you're going to say John Cusack is the lead in that, then Elizabeth Banks should be also in lead. You can't have one side of that story, one character being in lead and support. It's weird. It's a very weird how they handled that movie.
Yeah, Banks always feels more main than Cusack on that side. With that side of the story, definitely.
Let's switch. Let's just probably in this slugfest, just like the Globes and the Screen Actors Guilds, we've probably shortchanged the television categories a little bit, but that's okay. There's plenty more slugfest coming Gold Derby's way. But there's a good thread at the moment about, well, it was started before the Globe nominations came out, saying what's going to be the most bizarre Globe nomination on the TV side of things. And I guess now people are discussing, well, what was the year's most bizarre nominee? Just what is your guys' read on what was the most bizarre nominee that came out on the TV side of things, Brad?
I think the Outlander love. I think Menzies getting into supporting and Balfe in the actress. I mean, there was a lot of supporters for Outlander on our forums, and we were always quick to dismiss them and think that they were trolling or something. But it seems that they did get genuine support getting into Best Drama as well. That was a big surprise.
Yeah. What did you think, Carl?
I think the bizarre thing about Outlander was I suspected last year it could be a threat because it was a brand new show and the Globes are known for loving stars. I think it's weird that it's the second outing and that's when it got all the love. But in terms of the comedy side, I think Mozart in the Jungle is definitely it's an interesting choice. I watched the first 2 episodes yesterday and I could see why it got an aspect to it, so that helps with the musical or comedy category. And also Casual, which is one of my favorite new shows. It shows a sign they're embracing even more platforms for who is really starting to build their programming this year. And I think something that could happen is Casual could end up winning to reward Hulu, and they could come in next year just how Transparent won last year with Amazon and bringing in Mozart from the Jungle with them. And if Casual wins this year, they could bring on something like Difficult People with them, which is also one of my favorite new shows. So I think that's definitely an interesting scenario and very bizarre.
Well, Boy Diva in the forums agrees with you, Kyle, but also disagrees with you. They say Casual's a pretty bizarre nominee. But then they go on to say, I can't recall seeing a single positive review of the show. So, not as big a fan of Casual as you. Not true?
That's not true. No. I've seen so much love for that show.
There we go. But take it up with Boy Diva in the forums. So, yeah, the Casual was such a left field one. And imagine if Casual were to win, as you say they will, Kyle. Boy, how pissed will Netflix be? they haven't been able to win, but they're giving them to Hulu and they're giving them to, um, yeah, nuts. Like, and giving them to Amazon and things like that. So
It's going to show the power of the streaming services as well. I mean, they're getting in everywhere on the film side with Beast of No Nation on
And what I
this
was
TV shows, TV side as well.
yeah, Carl?
Am I there? Hello? You're still there?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not like, yeah, it's really, the casual thing really surprised me, but they got in, and I think Hulu did have a bit of a campaign, so they were probably pushing it quite hard with the Globe voters. It got in. I was surprised to not see Master of None break through. That was a sort of new, very cool show. Tom O'Neill told me that it wouldn't, so he was right on that count. The lead actor, like, it's such an interesting field, the Globes, and it's going to be interesting to see. Do you think Transparent can repeat, guys? Often that you don't get repeats of the Globes, but it's a very interesting race, that comedy series one.
I think it can. I think Transparent still feels very, very relevant. It still feels fresh, I think, as well.
Mm.
I think it can, but I think there's a scenario that I just heard from the previous Slugfest that I was watching, that there could be a Mozart win, and they're going to bring on Gale to win Best Actor. That could very well happen.
Mm.
I was thinking maybe Patrick Stewart could be a weird kind of win, but I kind of back and forth on that one. But, yeah, I mean, Tambor and Transparent could do it again, but I noticed that the only other shows that have really won 2 back-to-back were Glee, Sex and the City, but I think they won 3 as well. And then there was one other one that I can't remember off the top of my head. But, yeah, it's a very uncommon thing to win back-to-back.
Transparent sort of fits with those in the sense that, like, it's sort of a bit more dramedy, not a clear, like, you know, like, they're very different shows, those 3, but I see a few parallels there, so maybe they could. And with, yes, we got, I got in the post the other day, first 6 episodes of Mozart in the Jungle from Amazon, so there you go. Well, I always view it, if they're sending me a DVD, they're pretty keen on. Like, they're pretty keen to be getting the word out. So there was some effort behind that. That was a pretty bizarre one too. Any last thoughts on the TV side, guys? Brad?
I was surprised how badly The Affair did after how well they did last year, winning Best Actress and Best Drama. But Mauritania getting in when she didn't get in last year was pretty surprising, but she does have a more predominant role this season for The Affair.
Huh? Hey there, Carl.
I was not. I was not. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. I was not totally surprised that The Affair was dropped because of kind of the notion that if you win, it kind of are done with you. Kind of like how Brooklyn Nine-Nine was treated, but I think Maura could pull off an upset because supporting actress is always a category that the person we're not expecting to win wins. Because not many people I thought were expecting Joanne Froggatt to win last year. I don't think a lot of people were expecting Jacqueline Bisset to win a few years ago. So that could be a very interesting dark horse because they do watch the show because they watch it because they know that Maura is giving the best performance on TV. She's my personal favorite, and I could see it happening. And then some of the other things that I noticed, I know Grace and Frankie did not get nominated for Best Show, but she could very well win both for Grandma and Grace and Frankie.
That would be amazing for her.
Yeah. Really? She's gonna win for Grandma. Is
Oh,
that?
that's my favorite performance of the year.
I don't think she's going to beat Lawrence.
I don't know. I think they're gonna want to give it to Lawrence, Kyle, or Schumer.
She already has one.
How many? Like
I
Amy
don't know.
won back-to-back last year. Comedy category. They want Jennifer Lawrence up on the stage. I'd put a Lily Tomlin win for Grandma at about 2%.
That's not.
It's not true.
I said that's not good, but I could be overestimating.
We'll see. We'll see. That would be impressive. If she was to take out both, though, that would be a big night for her. And I guess crazy if Joy really falls like a red balloon, like a lead, not a red balloon, a lead balloon. Who knows? Guys, it's been fun chatting Globes and SAG and Oscars. I've really enjoyed this. The plan is we're going to be doing more forum poster slugfest where we get different posters in. Hopefully you guys will be back for another couple. So it's been really fun talking with you. Brad, you are Bradderz in the forums, correct?
Yep.
Kyle Bailey, you are Kyle Bailey in the forums, correct?
Yeah.
Yes? I think he is. And I am Matt
It's
Noble.
connected to.
You good, Carl?
Yeah. You hear me?
Yes, we can now. There's been a bit of a lag every now and then, but that's okay. And I'm Matt Noble in the forums. So you and me, Cole, make things easy for people. We've got our names, our handles in the forums. It's been really good, guys. Get into the forums. Get into the discussions. Let's talk up Trumbo, or down Trumbo, whatever your view is on it. Talk about Trumbo. Talk about the bizarre Globe TV nominees and all the other sort of reactions and stuff. Been great, guys. Bye.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.